Welcome, sir. Welcome, ma'am. Well, often in life we ask this question that what do we want actually? So today we are very pleased that we have with us the presence of Allan, Pease and Barbara Pease with us. Can you have a loud round of applause for them? The most successful relationship offers. So they'll tell us the secret to actually find what we actually want. So we please take the seat. They're all yours.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoone.
Good. Welcome. Who wants to work out what they should be when they grow up? Well, one of the things, the reason I said, one of the things we find with this, you book the answer, which has been enormously successful everywhere, is that when we run our seminars in Australia, we have weekend seminars where we invite 30 people to come and live at our resort property, and we teach them how to figure out what to do with their life. And one question that stands out for everybody, they all want to know, whatever age they are, what should I be when I grow up? And the last one to ask that was a woman who was 73 years of age.
You could have said,
Because most people, if you look at everybody, about half of most populations, they kind of have an idea what they might want to do with themselves, but they're not really sure what to do next. And the other half just don't know. They're waiting for something to happen. And all that happens is they get older. And suddenly they're at my age. Not our age, darling, my age. So in writing the answer, what we did was to use the same formula that we've used in our past books of using brain scans. What part of the brain is working when you're doing, thinking, saying certain behaviour. And we applied it for the first time to success. So what part am I going to do in this session? We're making this up as we go, which we can do because we know what we're talking about. I'll talk for the first bit about the science part, and then we'll kind of just throw it around and see where you guys want to go. Now, the answer is only fairly newly released here in India. Has anybody seen the book, The Answer, yet? Oh, good. Virgins, I love it. Yeah. It's based on a part of the brain that all of you have that operates and determines how successful you will be or not. Now, who's done some sort of self-development course on goal setting, or who's done any self-development? Now, if you do self-development courses, if you've ever had it, and some of you look like you're old enough to have been around for a few courses, then you've probably learned how to set goals, how to have a time management plan, how to manage other people, how to decide what you want, how to draw up a plan moving forward. We talk everything that you've ever heard about motivation, goal setting, and use science of the brain to explain why it gets a result. So in the answer, what we're going to talk about today, we will talk about why goal setting works. We talk about why the yin and the yang gets a result. In fact, it's all the same stuff. The universe is one of the latest incarnations. I talk to the universe and it gives me an answer. Now, most men are sceptical with this. Women are pretty good with that, so they get a result. Most men say, what a load of crap. Show me the evidence. Now, men want evidence. We want you to prove it, otherwise we don't believe it. Women don't need you to prove it, they just go on with it and see what happens. And so women can get a result from these things. The latest incarnation in 2018 is called the law of attraction. Who's heard of this one? Okay, in the past we called praying to God. Now, you can call it whatever you like. You can call it praying to God, you can call it goal setting, you can call it the law of attraction, you can call it the universe, you can call it the yin and the yang, you can call it the great cookie monster in the sky, whatever you want. Doesn't matter what you call it. It's the same part of the brain we found is active when you're doing any of those things that gives you the result. And here's what I want you to do. With your fingers, put your fingers on the tips of your ears. Now move one hand across right there in the centre of the neck, just where it fits in. Just put your finger on that. Got it? Yeah. Now what you put your hand on there is what's called the reticular formation. It's like a small golf ball sized piece of nerve tissue and neural endings, and all it does is it's the command centre for the brain. So everything you experience in a day, everything except for smell. Smell's the only thing that doesn't go through this, but everything you see, feel, touch, hear, goes through this command centre called the reticular formation. So it goes into there, and that command centre then distributes it to the part of the brain that deals with that particular information. Now, if you picture that with your computer, whether you've got a laptop or a desktop, that's hardware. And what you put your finger on right then is hardware. And in the answer we show you the pictures and the scans of where all the stuff sits. That's a piece of hardware. And like your computer, has an operating system. Now the operating system that runs this, that makes all the networks work, is called the reticular activating system. Has anybody heard of this? So, two people. Around 7% of the people in the world have heard of the reticular activating system. Yet it's simply the most important and most valuable thing about your life you will ever learn about. The single most valuable. And I know that's dramatic, but this is absolutely true. You'll get your head around what we're going to talk about here right now, which is the short version of what we did with the answers. Your life can change dramatically because people who read this book and come to a seminar, their lives change in a way that sometimes when we told you what happened, you'd think we were making it up. It's not true. So you've got a bit of hardware called the reticular formation, and you've got a bit of an operating system called the reticular activating system, which is short terms we call it the RAS, R-A-S. Now here's the way the RAS works. It's got two components in it. First, it has a Google search engine. It operates exactly the same as a Google search engine works. With a Google search engine, you just put in words or data and it searches the internet, it comes back in order with the things that best fit that, and it's got a GPS, which operates exactly the same as the GPS in your car or on your telephone. Now with a GPS, if you're going to set your address to go to see your friend in Bangalore, so you put in 22 Smith Street, South Bangalore. That's the address you're going to. Do you have to know every street between here and Bangalore? No. What do you need to know? You just need to know the exact address where you're going. And you have faith that if you put that address in, that car will drive you how close? Within meters of that door. Now, you don't have to be an expert in GPS, you don't have to know every street. You have faith in your heart. If you put that exact address in, you'll turn up a couple of meters from that front door. 22 Smith Street, South Bangalore. What happens if you didn't put 22 in? You just put in Smith Street, South Bangalore. Where will you end up? Well, you'll end up in Smith Street, probably the centre. Maybe one end or the other, but maybe the centre. What if you just put in South Bangalore? Well, you probably finish up at the post office or the town hall. What if you just put in India? You're somewhere in the, what's the middle of India? What town's in the middle of India? Which one? Bhopal. Whatever he said. What's it called?
Nagpur.
Can someone translate? Nagpur.
N-A-G. Nagpur.
Okay. You just put in India, finish up in Nagpur. Now most people with their life, they put in India, they finish up in Nagpur and say, what the hell am I doing here? So, what you need to know and be clear on is the specific address you want to go to. And most people with their life do not have a specific address. They have a vague address and they finish up in vague places at the town hall and wonder how the hell they got there. So GPS is an important function. It's part of the building RAS. The second part, as I mentioned, was a Google search engine. Now with a Google search engine, you don't need to know everything on the internet. All you've got to know is what? Just the keywords that fit what you're looking for. So you put in your keywords, it then searches the web and it brings out everything of the human race, the whole world's information comes in priority order based on the words you put in. Okay, now let's sit on the front row. Do you drive a car?
Yes.
What sort of car do you drive?
Honda.
A Honda, which type?
City.
A Civic. A Honda Civic.
City.
What?
City.
Oh, City. Honda City, okay. Is that like a four-door?
Sedan.
Okay, it's a Honda City. Okay, what colour?
It's silver.
Silver. How long have you had it?
10 years.
10 years. Okay. The moment you decided to buy a Honda Civic, as soon as you made the decision to buy that car, you saw that car in every road. Every traffic light you pulled up to, there's a Honda City there, there's a Honda City there. You're driving down the motorway, there's a guy with his garage open, there's a Honda City in there. You turn the TV on, there's an ad for a Honda City. You open up a newspaper magazine, there they are for sale. You drive to the airport here, they've got a special at Davis Rent-A-Car, Honda City. Is that true or not? Raise your hand if that's true for you. Okay, does that mean that there are more Honda Cities on the road after he decided to buy the car than before? No, the same amount of cars. What's different? His RAS is now searching the information to find it. You put in a specific thing, Honda City, and now the RAS searches the internet, searches the world to find it. Now, what I'm going to say now is the most dramatic thing in this. If you get this now, your life will change. And we're going to show you no mercy on this. We're not going to be pleasant for life. We're going to show you what this is. You might get a slap around. From today, we want you to stop thinking about how you will do something. The whole world's thinking about how would I become wealthy, how would I become a millionaire, how would I buy a house on the beach, how would I travel around the world, how would I become the chief executive, how would I have a small business, how can I run a big business. If you're thinking about how, you're screwed. You've got to stop and right now think about how you'll do something. We want you to think about what it is you will do, what you will have, what you will be, what you will become. When you think about the what, you put in the what into your Google box, 22 Smith Street, South Bangalore, and it will drive you faithfully to that address. What happens if you take a wrong turn with the GPS? It will bridge you back onto the road, and you know this, you have faith in your heart that it will take you there. And that's exactly how the RAS works. That is the way it has always worked. So whatever addresses you're currently putting into your box is where you are right now. Your life is this whole summary of every address you put in. Now, you know what most people do with their Google box? You know what they put in there? They put in what they don't want. They put in what they don't want. I don't want to get divorced. I don't want to lose my house. I don't want to lose my business. I don't want the bank to take my house off me. I don't want to have a car accident. I don't want to get cancer and die. They put in what they don't want. Now, the minute you put in a don't or a can't, your brain does not recognise don't or can't. It only sees the words that follow. So, I don't want to get divorced. All it sees is get divorced, and it starts looking for reasons to get. You see divorced couples, divorced people. You see divorced families. Turn TV on. They're all getting divorced, killing each other. That is exactly how it works. This is really simple. Now, it's not easy, but it is absolutely simple. The hardest part for you is to decide the what, the exact address you want to go to. Now, if your address is India, you're going to finish up nowhere. If you put in Bangalore, you'll finish at the town hall and wonder what the hell you're doing there. You still haven't got to the address. So all you've got to do is think about what. Now, this sounds easy, but it's simple, but it's not easy. Because what it means is that the answer will move you from thinking about how will I do this. The how is what is stopping you from achieving greatness that you've got in you. You start thinking about how. When you think about how, you know what you do? Your brain's searching within your brain for how. Now the how is out there someplace, it's not in here. The minute you say how, you think you don't know how, so within a day or two, you become despondent. So the goal becomes watered down, or you put it at one side and go back to your normal life. That's what most people do. They go back to their job. You know, job means just over broke. That's what it means. So from today, you only think about the what it is you want. Now, this is a leap of faith for most people because we are raised in societies where we're taught to think about how would I do this, how would I get that, how would I go there, how would I become whatever. Now, if you knew how, you would have done it already. Or you'd be doing it now. And it wouldn't, if you'd already done it, it wouldn't be that interesting. So your goals have to have a fair degree of fear within them. Your goals must scare you. They're not to the point where you're immobilised, but they've got to be, when you wake up in the morning and go, oh hell! And when you can do that, you can wake up in the morning and go, oh hell! And not only that, you're waking up tomorrow morning to do what Barb and I do. We wake up every day saying, this is going to be fantastic! We don't know what's going to happen today, a lot of the time, we don't know. But this is going to be great, whatever it is. Now, I'm going to say something to you right now that will affect some of you. We probably never know who it was, but I'm going to say it now. That unless you're waking up every morning saying, this is exactly what I want to do. I can't wait to get to tomorrow morning to get started again. And at the end of the day, you go, damn, the day's over. So when the day's over, we go to bed, go to sleep really quickly. So we can wake up and it's next day. We can start doing it again. If you don't feel that way, you're in the wrong place. You are in the wrong place. In other words, you need to wake up tomorrow morning so excited about what you're going to do, where you're going to go, that you can't wait. Now, when you talk about this is what's called your passion. Most people, if they have identified their passion, they don't believe that they can make that their life's mission or their career. Now, somebody said the other day, but I love to, this woman said, I love talking all the time, good talker, I love socialising. That's how Martha Stewart started. That's all she liked to do. Oprah Winfield, she never shut up. They say she doesn't shut up, that woman. That's worth $6 billion. They're the greatest television woman that have ever lived. You look at every famous sports people, tennis stars or whatever they do, like Roger Federer. Roger Federer doesn't know how much money he makes. He doesn't know. All he wants to do is get up and hit balls. That's all he ever wanted to hit balls and win the next match. That's all the guy knows. He doesn't care whether there's money. He just hits the ball. That's all he wants to do. And if you can identify in your life the one thing, maybe there's two or three, but you can identify one thing that you love so much that you do it for free. And you can't wait to start tomorrow. If you can identify that, that's where your life should be going. Oh yeah, but I love running dinner parties and drinking wine. Well, that's it. People make huge careers out of wine clubs, wine writing, wine blogs, wine sales, whatever it is that turns you on so much you do it for free. That is where greatness lies for you. And most people either don't see, you know what they don't see, because they're thinking about how would I do this? When you think about how, so it's really clear, from today, if you find yourself thinking about how, you've got to say stop! Because the how's what's dragging you under. You don't know how, because if you knew how, you would have done it. Stop thinking how. Think about what. Have faith to think about what only. And as soon as you think about what, then your RAS will search the internet of the world and you will see on the city, on every street corner. And a woman came to one of our meetings, she said, she just got pregnant, she was 6 weeks pregnant. She says, I can't believe how many pregnant women there are around here. Pushing babies. There are more babies and pregnant women around when she found out she's pregnant, with more after than before. No. All that happens is the RAS suddenly sees it. It's like if you buy a unique dress, ladies, or fellas, you buy a unique shirt. You think this is really great. You buy it, suddenly every second person's got one. Not more people got it, it's just your RAS is picking it out of the environment. So you've got to have faith that the RAS is a little bit of hardware. It's in the back of the brain. Will find the answer for you. It'll find the how. As soon as you decide what the how appears. And if you look at all religions and all goal-setting exercises and the yin and the yang and the universe and the law of attraction, that's exactly what they're doing. Just calling it different names, but it's exactly the same thing. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so where are we going now? Questions so far? You want me to keep going?
I don't know. How would you like to do it? Do you want to ask some questions now, or do you want us to keep going with the technique? Okay, so let's keep going.
Okay. So where do you start in the first one? Where do you start?
First of all, you buy the answer, and that's going to give you
The answer's the manual.
Step-by-step manual. But to start on your own, you need to start writing a goal list. And in your goal list, you need to have A's, B's, and C's. With the A's, these are your dreams. This is what you've always wanted to do. You think that that's all there is in your life. So that's, you write that in your A list. B's are, I'd like to do that eventually. It's something that appeals to me. And C's, well, it's something, I'll think about it. It sounds like a good idea, but I'm not going to focus on those. And that's the first step in getting what you want outlined.
Now, importantly, you start with a pen and paper, not with a computer, not with a smartphone. And the reason you do this, what the studies show with the brain, is when you're keying into a computer with a smartphone, you're using 8 to 10 connections in the brain to key that information. When you're handwriting with ink, preferably with ink, there are 2,000 connections in your brain that are operating because you're handwriting, because the signal's coming directly from the part of the brain down your arm, out the end of a pen. In other words, you are emotionally involved with handwriting. Now, once you've got a handwritten list, sure, you're going to put it on your computer, you're going to put it everywhere as well. But prime data input needs to be pen and paper, which is hard for the millennials. They don't even write much anymore at school. We've got 6 kids, including 2 millennials, and everything's done with computer. And it's difficult to get them to write. The handwriting is so critical. I mean, the millennial generation has more information now than any of us have ever seen. They are the most informed. They have more access to information than any person in this room has ever had in their whole life. They don't know what the hell to do with it, but they've got more of it. It's the first generation of kids now that are telling us how stuff works. History's never been like this. So you start by write a list, as Barb said, of everything you can think of, as far back in your life as you can remember, from the time you're a kid. Everything that you thought, oh, that'd be great to do that, to have that, to go there, to become that. Now, you do not share this list with emotional vampires. I'm going to joke here, but you don't share the list with emotional vampires, or dream stealers. And many of those are in your family. They'll try, now when you start to do this, you'll have people try to stop you. And family members will try and stop you because two reasons. One, they love you. It's good, if you take this course of action, you'll lose your house, your job, your prestige, your community, maybe your money. If you quit your job and go and start this business, for example, we're worried about you. So they're generally concerned. Second reason that they don't want you to do it because they don't like you. If you get out of your box in the family position and start jumping around, that makes us look bad because everybody realises we're not doing anything with our lives. So you only share your list with people that you trust. Now it doesn't mean with family members, it doesn't mean you don't love them. Just don't talk, just don't tell them. If you tell them, they'll talk you out of it. What do you want to do this? You've got 3 kids, you're too fat, too skinny, too old, too young, too in the economy. Well, what they're really saying is these are the reasons why I could never do it. Not why you can't do it. Because unless they've actually done what you want to do, they can't tell you anything. The only people who can tell you anything about what you want to do is somebody who's currently doing it or has done it in the past. Even if they did it and failed, they're still good to talk to because they know what to avoid. So you write a list of everything you can think of handwritten and you just watch that list for a couple of days. And then after a couple of days, some things start to change and jump out. And this affects you. You've got to see this to see how this works. You keep adding to your list everything you can think of, anything. Don't discuss it with anybody who says it's no good or won't work. If anybody says something that you want to do is no good or won't work, you've got to not tell them. It's like if you've got an illness, you go to a doctor and they say you've only got 12 months to live. Someone said to me recently, the doctor gave me 12 months to live, what should I do? I said, fire him! Get rid of that doctor! They believe that they will treat you according to 1 year, and if you believe it, you will die on that day. And you've all seen family members that have been told by doctors you've only got 6 months, 12 months to live, and they die within that date. It's goal setting. Now the same goal setting that kills those same people is the same goal setting that can make them live a lot longer as well. It's the same principle. It's a matter of what you pump into your RAS, it will create the circumstances that will get that in. Okay, so you've got a list of A, B's and C's. Now with that list, after a couple of days, some things start to jump out at you, and often they're things that you didn't think would jump out at you, things that seem relevant. Now for about a night, one for me was tap dancing. I wrote on my list, tap dancing. I was 14 at the time. And I saw this movie on TV with Gene Kelly called Singing in the Rain. And the guy's tap dancing up and down the sidewalk with a number. Who's seen that? And I saw that and I thought, this is amazing. I'm going to do that. So at 36 years of age, it started on my C list. It's 36 years of age. I moved it to my A list and I joined the Avalon Beach Tap Dancing Club in Sydney. Hang on, you haven't had the end yet. For 3.5 months, me and 40 fat ladies tap danced around that civic centre. And I didn't like it. And I wasn't any good at 3 left feet. And I went home and I put a line through it. Finished. Now, this is important. When you have a large list, you keep adding to it. So look, when you start a goal today to go someplace, you don't know whether you're going to really like it till you're halfway there or more. You don't really know. Now, my goal is to go from here to that door outside there. That's my goal, is to get there. But Allan, why do you want to go there? There are people standing in the way. They're going to stop you. It's too hot, too cold outside. You'll sweat. You'll get bitten by a rattlesnake or by a cobra. Yeah, but that's where I want to go. Yeah, but why do you want to do that? You're very comfortable sitting up here. Stay there. We love you there. We know you're there. Does that sound familiar to you? This is your life, isn't it? Let's say I head through that door. Anybody gets in my way, because I'm going to that door, I'll walk around and jump over and go under and kick them out of the way if necessary. If I don't have a clear goal, I'll be motivated by the first person who jumps in front of me. If I've got a goal to go there, I sidestep it. So let's say I get over towards the door, and when I get there I say, I don't like this, the view's not very good, I didn't think the view was going to be like this. In fact, there's a wind blowing up my arse from out the back here, and the light's no good. However, when you're over near that door, you'll be able to see things out there you can't see in here. You'll see openings, opportunities that don't exist in this room. But you've got to head over there to find those things. That makes sense? You're going to catch a train from here to Mumbai. That's your goal. You get halfway and you see some fantastic place. You get off there, you go, what a fantastic place. You wouldn't have seen that place if you hadn't been on the train to Mumbai. Does this make sense? Yeah. So you can, now I went home, I put a line through. Tap dancing. Now the reason that's important, when I'm on my deathbed and I'm dying, I will not get up on one elbow and say, if only I hadn't learned to tap dance. I tap danced. I didn't like it. I did that. There's 3 of those things for me, at least. You got at least 3 too, don't you? One of mine was golf. Friends of mine said, let's play golf. So I was playing golf, hitting the ball around playing golf. And I hated it. I was no good, little ball going in a hot, and it's stupid. And I found out why they call it golf, because all the other 4 little words were taken. And then they spelled it backwards.
This is a golf club.
I know it's a golf club, I know. I'm talking softly. So I played golf, and after a few rounds I said, guys, I can't do this anymore. All my friends said, we play to relax, but I never saw anybody relaxed. They were either really upset or they're drunk. Relaxed. So I went home and put a line through it. Golf, sailing. We moved to the beach suburb in Australia where there's beautiful waterway, and I'm going to be a sailor. I always wanted to be a sailor. I moved it from C to A and be a sailor. As soon as I put it on the A list, what did I start to see? Every time I walk into a news store, magazines, sailing, boating, thousands of them. I never saw any of them before. I opened up my internet, and on the side here, they're selling me boats. Were those boats branded? Those signs had always been there. I never saw them. The minute you start putting into your RAS that you want a Honda City, you'll see it come up in your browser. You'll open a magazine, there's Honda City, you turn TV on, there's a report on Honda City. You'll see it the minute you decide, you'll see pregnant women all over the place. That's how the RAS works. So I put in sailing, and suddenly the world financial crisis hit. And everywhere, there's boats for sale. First thing everybody does is get rid of their boat. So Barb and I find this boat, this guy rings up and says, look, we're a receiver at auction. We've got this boat's arrived, $1.3 million this guy's paid. He's gone broke and his wife ran off with the guy next door. The bank just wants to get the money back. So we bought that at less than half the price. This incredible boat run by a computer with 4 bedrooms. Now, I knew nothing about sailing. Barb knows nothing about sailing. So I decided I've got to find someone who's an expert sailor who can sail this boat and teach me how to sail. I didn't want to sail, I wanted to sail. So I walked into a Starbucks, maybe 10 people in there, all talking. And I heard someone over the back say, poor old Greg, now that he's no longer in charge of the yacht club and he hasn't got a boat, he's just sitting at home. Now how did I hear that conversation when I walked through the door? Why didn't I hear the conversation about the guy over here who's buying a new sports car, or the guy at the back who's going overseas? Whatever you put into your RAS, when you walk in a room full of people talking, you can find those conversations. Pregnant women on the city, on every street corner when you put it in. If you say, how would I learn to sail? You go within your head, you don't know how. You say, I want to find someone to sail. So I find Greg, and I convinced Greg quite easily to drive this boat, teach me how to sail. So we got on this boat and we sailed to the horizon 3 times and back. And we drank a bit of wine and over a third, and we got back the 3rd time. I said, what now? He said, that's it. So that's what we do. We drive out and we talk bullshit and drink a bit of wine and bits of food. And so I went home and I put a line through that, sailing, and we sold that boat. Made a profit, which is unusual, made a profit boat. And here's the point, that I will not get up on my one arm when I'm dying saying, you know, Auntie, I had to learn to sail a boat, play golf, and tap dance. That will not happen. When you go to your grave, you need to go in wrecked, broken condition, go, what a bloody ride that was. That's where you need to go. You don't want to tiptoe slowly to death and then die. Sad for vegetarians, I'll be dying of nothing. So, where am I going? You want to chip in or?
No, you're doing a great job.
Am I doing what you told me to do?
So the point that Allan is making, that when you have your A, B's and C's, that it's okay to change. So if, as you're going down your track and you're on your A list, all of a sudden, because we get people to keep their books and we get them to look at their A's, B's and C's all the time, if something jumps out of you that's on your C list, it's okay to transfer it to your A list and start it. And as Allan said, you have more than one goal. Because the minute that goal doesn't appeal to you anymore, then you're lost. Whereas if you've got 50 on your list, you just go to the next one. And it's a journey, and it's an exciting journey.
Now, can they buy the answer at this festival?
No, it's sold out, sorry.
No, it's sold out. But you can get it in bookstores or online somewhere, but there's none here.
Yeah.
Which is very nice. But some of the people who've attended our weekends, our weekends are interesting. We have 30 people, they come from all over, 30 people come at a time. And we live in a rainforest on the beach. And they find a hotel on the beach and they come and spend the weekend with us. We go through the answer. And some of the stories that come out of that, we'll talk about some of these now. There's one guy who came, he was homeless. He was living in his car, this guy. Yeah. He was living in his car. And he said, he didn't know what he wanted to do. He'd been ripped off by his family. They sold his house under him and they're falling out with his sister. It was just a terrible family dilemma. When people die, you get horrible family dilemmas where there's any money involved. He was a sad victim of all this. And so on that weekend, he decided he wanted to become world famous at something. And he's a great dog trainer. He wanted to become world famous at dog training. That was 3 years ago. And it was one of the first weekends we ran. You know, since then he's published 2 books. He's the guy who invented the cancer dogs that can sniff you and smell prostate cancer or smell breast cancer by a change of hormones. And he's travelling the world in Egypt with the dogs he's trained to find mummified bodies underground. And he's written 2 books. And he came to our last weekend about 3 weekends, and he came in a helicopter. This thing was living in his car. Now, the problem was when he's living in his car, you know what he was thinking about? Living in his car. He's putting in his box, living in my car. And that's what he was doing. So he was successful, wasn't he? He was doing what he was thinking about. All we did with the answer was change what was being put into the box. And what was, not to go someplace else and do something else. We had another couple that came maybe 8, 9 months ago. But this couple came to Central Australia and they wrote their list, and one of the goals on there, we said, what's this one about living in France? They said, oh, we've always wanted to live in France, but we can't because 3 years ago we had a business which went broke and we were bankrupt and we were struggling to make it back and no way knows we can go to France. We can't think of how. What was the problem? They're trying to think of how. So we said, stop thinking about how. Think about what. So they wrote the what. The what is we will go and live in France and live a happy, successful life. And we don't happy, but they moved there 8 months ago. They went to France. We don't even know how they went there. We don't know.
They just bought a ticket and
They
left.
just bought a ticket and left. And here's the thing, that once you decide what, you will see exactly how. And this is the leap of faith that most people need to make to be successful. If you're thinking about how, it's rude. You don't know how. That's why you haven't done it. So
And another
society,
thing with
we're
your
raised
goal
on this.
is you must describe it. So a lot of people will say, I want to live on the beach. Well, what do you want to live on the beach in? What's your house look like? How close to the beach is it? Is it 2 streets back? Is it right on the beach? Is it white picket fence? What is your goal? You have to describe it to be able to see it and visualise it to go after it.
That was enough. So which one of you guys? I want to live on the beach. Someone tell us about that. Well, I love surfing. So I want to live on the beach. So every morning I go surfing and come home in the evening and go surfing. Well, describe the house. He said, oh, it doesn't have to be anything great. Just the beach so I go surfing. The goal is to go surfing. So, well, do you step out on the sand and walk in the water, or is it 2 streets back because it's 30% cheaper, or where is it? He said, either of those at work. So was it brick or is it timber? They describe it. He said, oh, any of those would be good. What are his chances of getting that job, getting that house? He's thinking, India. He's going to finish up where you said that I can't pronounce. That's where he's going to end up. Now, if you had said, okay, here's my house, this is what we did with this guy. Your house is made of, you decide, brick, because that way the salt air won't affect the timber, won't be made. It's going to be brick, less low maintenance. 3 bedrooms. We get to the point where now he's describing the door handles, describing the carpet and the colours. But he kept saying, but how, mate? Stop! Stop, how? I say to you now, stop how. If you're thinking about how, you are jeopardising yourself. We said, stop how. So he described this house. And he said, I can't believe it. He said, next time I opened the paper, what did he see in the paper? Well, real estate said, opens it, all he sees is these houses that look like maybe described on the beach. He said, but how am I going to get the money? Stop! Go and walk into that house, walk around and mentally own that house. Decide that's what you want, and your Raz will see how to do it. This is the critical thing. Once you decide the what, you will see how. Most people don't decide what they decide what they don't want. Now I'll show you what happens when you say no. What's your first name?
My question is,
No, your name, not your question. Hold your question. I only get it. You look like a strong young bloke. Come up here. I'm going to show you something. Stand up here. What's your name? What's that? Ned. Thanks, Ned. Okay. So what you look like, you do a bit of working or something? Yeah, it looks pretty strong, this guy, right? Hey, here's what we're going to do. I want you to think of something that you like to do. You love it so much you do it all the time if you could for free. Got something? Okay, now to tell us what it is. Okay, now, with your right hand, just move this because you don't. Okay, with your right hand, hold your right hand out like this, make a fist. Okay, make it nice and strong. Now I'm going to try and push it down. I want you to resist. You ready? Now resist. This boy pushes iron. Okay, you're a strong guy. Okay. And here's what I want you to do. I want you in your mind, you can close your eyes now to think of yourself doing that thing and doing it successfully and loving it. You got it? Picture it in your mind. Got it? I'm going to push your arm down. Resist. Keep thinking about it. Okay, it's pretty good. Okay. Now, is there something in your life that you don't like? You don't want to do it. You're trying to avoid it. Maybe there's something, we've all got something right now we're trying to avoid. Have you got one of those? That it really, you don't want to think about it. Okay? I'm going to ask you to think about that. Okay, hold your arm out again, hard as you can. I want you now to think about that thing you don't like and how bad it is. You got it? Picture it, picture it. What does this tell you? What does this tell you? What did you learn from that? The moment you think about what you don't want, you become limp jellyfish. With no energy. I'm so tired. I can't go anywhere. I'm tired. The reason you're so bloody tired is you think about what you don't want. Now you're going to put that picture out and think about what you do want. And when you think about what you do want, you're as stiff as a board. Think about what you don't want, down it went. Make sense?
yes.
Your brain cannot think in negatives, it only thinks in positives. I get a bit enthusiastic about this, darling, don't I?
Let's ask some questions.
Questions.
Now, I think. I'll just go down to this gentleman.
You're going to be like the barrel girl.
Yeah.
Question.
Yes. My question to you is this. So we must focus on what we want, but in real life, it is easy to identify what you want.
It's not.
It is not.
Ah,
So how do you resolve that? In your case, you tried tap dancing
yes.
and crossed
Good
it.
line. Yeah.
You tried golf,
Golf.
crossed it.
Yeah. Sailing.
Surfing,
Yeah.
crossed it. Sailing, crossed it.
Uh-huh.
Now, your country, Australia, gives you this option to exercise your options. That system allows you. Certain countries like India does not permit its citizens to have so many options because we have constrictions in our economy, in our societal system. So how does one identify what one really wants?
Anybody got an answer for this? So you're saying the system is preventing you from doing this? You're in symptoms.
What you are saying depends on you. I don't think system is stopping anybody.
Yeah.
It's entirely in my mind what I want to do. And it's possible to do what you want in this country, even in this state.
If
And
the other way of looking, oh sorry.
Hang on, the question is, who is stopping him? Who is stopping him? Who's stopping him? So what, the first point you're going to start is by what? Where's the first point it starts?
He's got to get his
This is
list
common, it's a
together.
common situation everywhere in the world.
Taking ownership of yourself.
It's thinking about what you do want rather than what you don't want. What you don't want is thinking of the system stopping you. Think about what you can do and will do, and your arm will stay like this. When you think about a system stopping you, it goes like this. Now this is not easy, by the way. This is simple. It's simple, but it's not easy. Because what you're saying is dead right as well. You don't see the same.
I don't think that anything in this country stops anybody from doing anything. I have to take ownership of what I want to do and face the consequences. If I am not willing to face the consequences, then all the problems start. I simply just want to do, but don't want to own it and not take action on it.
It's a little like if you turn the TV on and watch the news. Someone saw the news, everybody's been murdered and killed and raped and burglary. Another one says, I watched the news, I saw the sport and some guy won a prize. What you put in your box, you will see on TV. That makes sense? So if what you're seeing is something that is not helping you, the simple answer is decide to see what will help you, and you will see that. You'll see pregnant women and Honda Cities. That's what happens. That's exactly how it works. It's simple. Now this is simple. It's not easy. It isn't easy, but it is simple. I think your mind doesn't know the difference between reality or fantasy. You know this? We've known this for a long time. You don't really know whether you were here or not. You think you're here, but you might be home in bed asleep. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You think you might be in a padded room going, oh, we're the culprits. You don't know. You think you're here, so therefore you react and respond as though you're here. And your dog has got a raz, and you've seen your dog, imagine he's chasing a cat. His legs are going like this. There's no cat, but his raz doesn't know. He thinks it's real, so he gets the body to react that way. So the starting point, and this is the critical point. Thank you for bringing it, because this is a critical point where most people are. Only think about what you do want and what will happen and what you will do. Because you think whatever you're thinking about, positive, negative, that's what's going to happen.
So how do we veer off from his original question?
Yes.
Which is, I may be confused. How do I know what I really want? That was his original question, right?
Yeah, good point. Okay, that's extensive. Starting point is, get a pen and paper and begin to write down everything you can think of in your whole life from the time you can remember, from the time you're a kid. Everything you thought about, saw, felt, or said, wouldn't it be great to do that or have that or be that, but you didn't do it because life got in the way. The problem is life gets in the way. Life gets in the way, suddenly you're old.
Only the ones I didn't do.
In handwriting, write a list of everything.
Only the ones I did not do, or the ones I did also.
All the ones that you
All the ones that you
want to
didn't
do and have thought about
Yeah.
and has been in your past that you've brushed aside. You just write everything that comes into your
Everything.
head all the time. Like you keep adding to your list. You just don't decide to sit down and write one list. You keep adding and you keep changing. So A's and B's and they all get mixed up.
And after 2 or 3
And then-
days, things start to jump off that list. Like they turn bold.
Patterns emerge a lot.
Yeah, they just start to come out of that list. And other things on the list, suddenly you can't find them anymore. And maybe those things might have been there all your life. We had a woman, this woman who was in her 70s, who came about a weekend. She wrote a list, and one of the things on her list was ballroom dancing. She said, I always wanted to be a ballroom dancer from the time I was a kid. And I never did it because I had to go to work early, leave school, and support the family. So life got in the way. For all of us, look, life's going to get in the way, right? Life is going to get in the way, whatever you do. Now, she said, I want to be a ballroom dancer. And so she wrote a list. On the second day, she said, I can't find it on here anymore. Turns out she didn't really want to be a ballroom dancer, but she did when she was 6 years old and had been there all her life, nearly 70 years. Because it had been there going in her head for so long, she thought it must have been important. But when you write it down, if it's not important, it vanishes, it fades. And stuff will start to jump out of you that is important. And sometimes it's things you didn't imagine will start to jump out at you.
I'll give you an example. About 10 years ago on our list, we decided we wanted to, actually it was longer than 10 years, we wanted to go to Russia. Russia was not open to Australians or most people.
Iron Curtain.
So we set our Raz and we went to a conference and I was standing there talking to a group of people.
Before that, that's how it happened before that. We wrote on there, give a seminar in the Iron Curtain. And people started saying, people were respecting her, Iron Curtain, you can't get in there, communist.
Yeah.
You're a Westerner, they steal your kidney, you wake up in an ice bar. A KGB.
So we were at this seminar and we were talking to a group of people and I could hear a Russian accent in the back of the room. And I just said to Allan, oh, look, excuse me, I'm going to talk to this man. So I just walked over to this man and said, you're Russian? He said, yes. And I said, we're authors and speakers and we would love to come to your country. And he said, okay.
Here's the question, how did she, with 300 people in the room, how did she hear a Russian accent 6 people away? She didn't hear this woman, he didn't hear that guy there, didn't. She heard that Russian. If you decide you're going to go to Russia, as soon as we put that on our list, we turn the TV on the first program, animals in Siberia. I never would have seen this before. You open your web browser, want to travel overseas, want to learn to speak a foreign language?
So we did a deal with the Russian and of course we made no money and he made a lot of money. His first print run of our body language book was 1 million. And he kept all the money. We got nothing.
Second print, another million.
That's not the point. The point was, our goal was to go to Russia, and now after 20 years of going there, it's probably
27 years, though.
it's our biggest market, and yeah, we spend at least 2 or 3
years in Russia.
Yeah, 2 or 3 months. Again, as Australians, we wouldn't even think of having a Russian in one of our conferences. That I just went up and just said, I'd like to go to Russia, what can you do? Again, it's just setting your RAS and how am I going to do? I didn't think about it. I just knew that eventually the universe would serve someone up to me, and he was standing at a conference. And that can happen to you. And I know that there are restrictions on you, but you have to find a way to get around those restrictions. In India. Restrictions.
He didn't think so, he's gone out there. He's gone out to set his RAS.
But I'm saying that you're setting your RAS to what you want to do. You'll find ways of, if there is a blockage there, you'll find a way around it.
Well, the Russian story is a really interesting one, because we decided to do a seminar behind the Iron Curtain when it was impossible to do that. You could not go to Russia, it was communist, and they would steal your kidneys. You wake up in an ice bath and the KGB would shoot you. But we'd been to the movies and we saw it from Russia with Love and James Bond, and it looked exciting. We thought, we'll go and do that. Like, it was on a season. It's just, look, sealer's just a good idea. Not a good idea. We're driving down the motorway one day and there's a guy doing a bungee jump on a sign. It says bungee jumping. We thought, holy hell, look at that. Put that on the sea list. And it took us about 8 years before we did it, right? 8 years before we went to New Zealand for a seminar where they do the bungee jumping, and we strapped up and jumped off bloody hard.
Very hard.
She did that 5
And I never want to do it again. It's over. I mean, it's a good reference.
Has anybody here done a bungee jump? Anybody done a bungee?
I've achieved it.
Cross the lot, yeah. Has anybody here done a bungee jump? Okay, with a bungee jump, as you know, it's not a career move, you don't make it a life job or anything like that. But if you've done a bungee jump, it's a point of reference, isn't it? When you think back, if you're facing an obstacle today that scares you, you go, oh hell, what's going to happen here? You think back to the time you tied a rubber band around your ankle and jumped off a 20-storey building, and your mother said, don't do that. Then suddenly the thing in front of you that scares you is no longer scary. Because that's a pretty scary thing to do that. It defies everything you've been told about good life, throwing yourself off a building with a rubber band around your ankle. We did it once, and it is a point of reference, and maybe something you might want to put on your... I had fear of heights, and so did Barbara, so we thought, damn this, we're going to put fear of heights, we're going to fix this, we'll jump off a bridge with a rubber band around our ankle. Did it fix it? Probably not.
No, definitely not.
However, we did it, we crossed it off, and if anything overwhelming comes up today, we can think back to that, and it's not as scary as that was. So it's a point of reference. You think back to something that happened. That's a good thing.
Does anyone else have a question?
I've read a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill,
It's one of the
yes.
oldest books about getting what you want.
Yeah.
But it also has, like you talked about, just having the what written down.
Yeah.
But that book also talks about the steps and getting specialized knowledge and
Yes.
things like that.
Yes.
So A, what do you think about that? And B, how does affirmations help in what you want?
Okay, you want me to deal with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Napoleon Hill is the opening quote in the front of the answer.
Okay.
Is what man thinks about and what thinks all day long he becomes.
Correct.
That's Napoleon Hill, 1934. In fact, remember I met Earl Nightingale back in the 70s. And you heard Earl Nightingale before? Yeah. And I travelled with Earl Nightingale. And I remember he said, Allan, what a man thinks about all day long he becomes. I said, well, if that was true, I'd be a woman. So back to the question. What was the question, Allan?
About affirmations, how important they are, and they're really important.
Yeah, an affirmation really ties, and in fact there's an entire chapter on how to do this. Within the answer, we wish we had somebody who can give you a say what we haven't, but they give them bookshops. But we have a whole chapter on how the RAS affects affirmations and visual. And an affirmation, in simple terms, is a phrase that you will repeat over and over because you believe it to be true. And consequently, it is true for you. In fact, your entire life right now is the sum of your affirmations. Everything you have been telling yourself all your life, you've got right now. And affirmation stuff, and when you're a kid, your parents tell you stuff. Money doesn't grow on trees. No, has anybody heard that? Was that an Indian one? Money doesn't grow on trees? Allan, eat every bit on your plate. Why? Because the Chinese are starving. So I'd eat everything. I thought, hang on, that's not helping the Chinese. Or we're going to wrap it up and post it to them. So affirmations are things that when you got your first bicycle, typical example, you get a small kid their first bicycle, you know what parents say? Don't fall off. Now the kid didn't think about falling off until you mentioned it. So now you say don't fall off, what does their Raz start singing? Fall off. Yeah. So they get on there, they go, whoa, they fall off. So they said don't fall off. So what should you say to a kid when you give him a bicycle?
Ride safely.
Ride well, stay up straight, you'll be great. Okay, what if they fall off? Which they probably will. Say, good job, you went 3 metres. Get back on and go 4 metres. You say don't fall off, they're going to fall off. And studies have been showing the kids on bike, they're going to fall off. If you say don't fall off, they never thought about it until you said it. So an affirmation is any statement that you say that you believe to be true. In your whole life, everything you say to anybody is a summary of your affirmations. Now here's the great news about this. You have 100% control over what you put into your Raz. You have 100% control. You can decide 100% what your affirmations are. So you write an affirmation. Well, affirmation, the safest way to start is with, I am. And you state what you believe you are. And if someone says, hang on, but I am a successful person becoming more and more wealthy by the day who will live in a large house on the beach to go surfing. Hang on a minute, I'm living in a flat in Mumbai. Well, if your goal is to live on a beach, become a highly successful person that's doing really well, it doesn't matter where you're living, it doesn't matter what the government says, it doesn't matter what the sector, it does not matter. You just decide with what you're going to do. So an affirmation is a positive statement that goes into your Raz. The minute you put that in there, what do you think you'll see when you turn the TV on and start reading books and newspapers? You'll see steps of how to go to the beach, how to become wealthy. You walk into a bookstore, you'll see Think and Grow Rich, you'll see Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You'll start seeing all the stuff that you didn't see before you wrote the affirmation. Now this is where you need a step of faith, because many people say to themselves, just because I say it doesn't make it true. And that's correct. However, what you're saying now has become your truth. And you probably learned it from someone else. Does this make sense? What you're saying now, everything that comes out of your mouth, you have learned that somewhere, and your brain believes it's true. And it doesn't know the difference between reality or fantasy. It doesn't know whether you're in a meeting or home in bed. But it gets you to behave as though it was true, and it collects the circumstances around you that prove it's true. So the simple way of doing this, not easy, but simple, is to write affirmations of exactly what it is you want and will have and become. But write them as though they're true now. Because the minute you put that into your Raz, suddenly you start to see it. Well, I can't speak in front of a crowd. You know why? Because I get nervous and I get dry in the throat and I forget my lines and I need water. And not only that, people will prove this to you, but when you go to speak, they'll say, there's a glass of water up there. They expect you to get nervous and forget your line. They back up your affirmation that you're no bloody good. So you get up there on stage and your brain says, a crowd of people, forget my lines. Go thirsty. Sweat under the arse. We prove it. So how do you become a good speaker? With affirmations, what do you do?
Say, I am a good speaker.
Yeah, not only I'm becoming a better and better speaker every day. And when I speak to crowds, they love listening to me because I'm becoming really good at it. I get motivated about what I say. They enjoy it. In fact, they are affected and their lives changed by what I said. So that's not true. You're a crap speaker. Well, I was in the past, but now every day I'm becoming better and better. Each time I speak, each time you speak, you'll get better and better. And you know, I don't need. People say to me all the time when I speak, "You want some water?" So no, I don't use it. I've seen what fish do in it. But I'm sure if they put water there, I'll probably go dry.
Yeah.
No water, don't go dry. So an affirmation, when you first write it, it may not be true for you now, but you keep repeating it as though it was true, and it will become your reality. And your Raz will find all the circumstances that will fit it. It doesn't matter what government you're in or what country you're in. You can be in a country, and one of the ones we wrote about on the answer was a guy who lived in a country where you are totally suppressed by what you can say. This particular country, if you were to speak out against the government, you would be executed, and some of his family were executed. And the question he asked was, how do I do this? I said, well, you just decide what you do want. So he decided what he did want and he left the country. Went to another country and didn't have those things. Now he's a really successful guy in America. But if he hadn't thought to think of that, he'd still be in that country now saying the bloody government. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Now this is simple. It's not easy to do it because it means a major. Most people expect that great success is a really complicated thing. It's not. Success is not a complicated thing. It's simple. Not easy, but it's simple. And it starts by writing a list of what you will do, having positive affirmations of what you will become and who you will be and what you will have, and not talking to anybody who says this can't be done. Someone says that can't be done, you've got to stop telling anybody. Only tell people who have done it or are currently doing it. Find a mentor who's been successful at what you want and say, I love what you want to do, I want to be like you. Do you mind if I call you once a month and tell you how I'm going, you to comment? And most of those people will say yes, they're honoured. So then you've got people who've done it who are guiding you. Whereas chances are you've got people who are interested saying this can't be done. Now this also means that for many people, and this is a hard one for people, you've got to get new friends. Do you know that? You will become right now, you are right now the average of the 5 people you hang around with. Now look at the 5 people you hang around with the most. Whatever they do, think, have, you will be the average of that. Now, you've got to find 5 more people who are doing, having, becoming what you want to become. It doesn't mean you don't love your other friends. It means you need another 5 friends. Oh yeah, but I've known this guy since I was a kid. Bella said was one of them. We went to school together. Yeah, okay, but every time you say you want to do something, he says it's no good and it's crap and you can't do it. What's he really saying? What he's saying is he's no good if he did it. So I said, find 5 new friends. Doesn't mean you don't love your old ones. What if you're living in the same house as them? Just don't share your gold. Don't share your gold with dream stealers and emotional vampires. They'll suck you dry. I'm getting a bit excited here, don't
Any other questions?
Don't need the mic, man.
I can leave that country.
I am a teacher, and regarding setting of goals, I think you've been focusing on the material part,
Yes.
like house by the beach, Honda City. I think several of us in this room, our goal is different.
Yes.
Like I can say on behalf of my own personal experience and that of my wife who's sitting to me, my goal is my students.
Yes.
And that is my passion. That prompts me, I'm on the wrong side of 60. Get up tomorrow morning at 7:30, take my car out and drive to my university and start my sessions at 8 o'clock in the morning. I lost my son 5 to 6 years back. My wife's goal that time was, and I had gone bonkers absolutely. I went crazy. I was under psychiatric treatment. My wife and my daughter, only goal was to see that I get back to teaching. So I never, I and I'm sure several of others here, don't aspire to possess a BMW, which is standing there. I'm quite happy with my Verna fluidity. I know I'll never be able to get it. I'm quite happy with my home. But what my goal is, every evening, most of the evenings, my wife reads out from the letters of Swami Vivekananda. That gives us great amount of pleasure. It's basically moving towards self-actualization. I think most of us here, Indians, have grown out of desiring material things. We know
Yes.
if we are excellent, if we chase money, we never get it. If we chase excellence, money chases us. That's what I think it is.
Absolutely.
This goal,
Yes.
which we are.
What's on your list of goals is what is the priority in your personal value system. Whatever it is you want to have or become. Now, good example, we went yesterday to Mother Teresa's house here in Kolkata. And here's a woman who dedicated her life to a cause that she believed in with nothing. Her goal was to have a seat next to God, that was it. And to look after the people was a way of achieving that. And she never had any money, she had nothing. But in her opinion, in her life, in her value, she had the perfect life for her. So whatever it is that your value system holds, And you'll find in Western society, you're dead right, people that come to your seminars, they're mostly Western, and they want a BMW and they want a house on the beach, they want everything. But as many people know who've been through that, and Bob and I have several times, that does not bring you any happiness. They're just things. Things don't get you happiness. Becoming is what gets you happiness. Becoming to a level. So whatever it is that you want in your life, that your value system, you write it on your list, and it'll start to jump out after 2 or 3 days. You give it A, B and C, and that tells you the track you go down. So you don't have to be Bill Gates. I mean, if you wanted to be Bill Gates, you could be. You don't have to. It's whatever your value system holds. Exactly that. Yeah. Questions?
Any other questions?
Still knock out a tap.
Okay, so as you spoke about the ABC list of the dream, so let's say I have a list already prepared with me. So as life goes on, we have multiple dreams coming up. So how to be consistent in the A list of your dreams? I mean, you have a lot of things, like you said, you started doing multiple dreams after, and then you stack it up. But something which you kept on A list, which you always strive off to be a particular person. Like that's what you dream for. So how to be consistent in A list of your dreams rather than going live and having a lot of dreams at the same time. Consistency basically I'm looking for. How to be consistent in the A list of your dream.
Can you translate that?
He's trying to say that as we grow, our perspective in life changes.
Yes.
So if we have, something in our A list,
Yes.
and after say 3 years,
Yeah.
my perspective changes,
Yeah.
and that thing on my A list, maybe that doesn't belong there.
No, and that's right.
Put a line through it.
A, B's and C's change all the time.
Put a line through it.
Yeah, you don't have
Keep
to.
adding weekly, daily, monthly to your list, everything you can think of. And the minute you begin to think of things, you'll start to see things that you hadn't thought of right now.
Yeah.
Or the peer will go, hey, that would be good. I think I'd like that. That would be good for me. I can do this. I can go there. And you'll keep adding to your list. If you get, like as I said before, if your goal is to go from this stage to that door, and you get over near that door and you don't like it, you don't like the view, you don't like the temperature, but in there you can see things that you can't see in here. You decide to get on a train to go to Mumbai and you get off and stop halfway at a beautiful place. You go, I love this place. Well, you stay there until further notice. But you wouldn't have known to stop there if you hadn't been on the train to Mumbai. Does that make sense?
With some people is they get 1 or 2 on their A list and they believe that they have to finish it.
Yeah,
They
most
don't.
people get one.
People change and you don't have to finish it. You can go in different directions and do different
If
things.
someone says, my goal is to go to Mumbai, I saved up, I bought a ticket, I'm going to Mumbai. And they get on the train, they go to Mumbai, they get halfway down, they go, Mumbai sucks, I don't like Mumbai, it's terrible. But I'm going there because my mother said, you make your bed and you lie in it. So they finish up in Mumbai unhappy. Now, if you've got 10 things on your A list, you get halfway to Mumbai, go, stuff this, get off the train and go someplace else. But you wouldn't have seen someplace else if you hadn't been on the train to Mumbai. Make sense?
Yeah.
When you start off, it doesn't. When you start off to go that way, you don't really know until you're halfway or more you like it. You don't really know. That's the reality. You don't know. But when you're over there, you can see things you can't see here. And that's the beautiful thing about it. Things will suddenly, you'll start off going that way, you might finish up over there, and you'll love being over there, but you wouldn't have known to go there if you hadn't headed off that way. So don't worry about it. Just keep adding to your C list and watch things jump out. And as they jump out, move into the B. B list is, I think I like this, but I need to check it out. C list is just good ideas like bungee jumping and cat dancing. And A list is stuff that you are going to commit yourself to. That's a scary list. And once it goes on the A list, you know you're going to do this, but you don't know how. You don't have to know how. Because it's A list, you will see how. You'll see how. And I encourage you all to get a copy of the answer. Because it shows you step by step how to go through this.
And some people may not want to achieve other goals. You know, maybe, like for me, a lot of my RADs that I set are for other people. They're for my children. And if I meet someone, I've met 2 young basketballers and they're struggling in their lives, so I set my RADs to look for opportunities for them. And that's what happens as you get older. You know, it's not so much for yourself, but it's for your family or your friends or people that you've met along the way. And that's okay as well.
I've got to tell you something too, that Barbara and I, we both come from poverty backgrounds. We come from small Australian country towns where we've lived in what's called state housing. Government provided the house. When you're a kid, that doesn't matter because that's all you know. You don't know. You don't know that's what it was until you're an adult. And Barbara and I have been rich and we've been poor several times. And we found that it's better to be unhappy in a Mercedes than on a skateboard. But look, if we're forced to go back to a skateboard again, which we did twice, so that doesn't matter because we know what it's like to be on a skateboard.
And we've got each other. When we lost everything and owed a lot of money, we had each other and we just came back. And we didn't think about how we were going to pay our debts off. We just made the decision that we would get back to being zero and happy. And that's what we did.
Our goal, by the way, was so much money. Our goal was to get to zero. My goal was to be at 45 years of age and be worth nothing. Because we lost everything we ever owned. We were the wealthiest people we knew. We lost everything. We were making poor judgment, trusting accountants. We shifted all our money to places unknown. We don't know where it all went, but we finished up with nothing. Plus $3 million debt to the tax office. Not a good debt, all right. And we made the decision to pay it back and make it come back. We didn't know how, but we just made the decision. That's what we do. And once we decided, we started to read stories about people who've done this. We wouldn't have seen those stories if we hadn't set that on the RAS to decide to do it. This is the thing. You will not see things until you write it in handwriting and put it in your RAS. Then you will see.
And that's what you've done. You set your RAS for your students.
And that's exactly
what's happening. And that's what I do on a regular basis.
But you're right. In the West, the whole of Western society is built around having things. Having things is nice, but that's not a life ambition. That just makes it fun on the trip through.
All right. Actually, I left a job in Tata Steel, which sponsored me in 1983 to a membership of my club, and the academic bug kind of bit me, and I started working for my PhD, and then I didn't go back. And my friends, my batchmates in Tata Steel, former presidents of this club, are all retired and thank God. And they envy me now that I have less money, but I am still very much in need, I am still very much desired, go every year to the US, but I have less money. I have less material comfort. But my friends, they say they have nothing to do. They are saying, oh my God, we have nothing to do but to go to trolley, play golf, take a swim, have lunch, and go back home.
They have no goals and they haven't set their RAS.
That's early death for old. Early death, that is.
That's really bad.
That is early death for older men who do that. If hunters don't get out of bed and have a goal to go and do that day, I'm talking about men now specifically, then they have early death. But women have 5 things in their lives, including work. When work finishes, there's still 4 that expand. Men have 1 thing in their life, work. When it finishes, there's nothing else. If they don't find something else to go and shoot at, a goal, whatever it might be, then they die early. That's why
So if I may
I'm
connect the
not a
dots,
young guy, but I'm never going to quit.
if I may connect the dots to what I hear you saying, what you want is not the things, the stuff, but the feelings you think those things will give you.
But everyone is different. There are some people in the world that want material goals, and that's okay. And there's other that want spiritual, which is again okay.
You want the material things because of the feelings you think that they'll give you. He wants other things because of the feelings that gives him. Am I right?
Both the same things.
Yeah, but we live in both worlds. We have been successful and we do have material things, but we don't go chasing them now because we are very comfortable. But we get a lot of our setting our RAS to help other people.
Self-esteem and self-actualization.
Yes, and we get it from helping students as well, and also we educate the world. We travel around the world teaching people to believe in themselves, to stop thinking of the blockages, to get what they want in life. And different people want different things. We teach them about relationships because the world is fighting each other, male and female against each other. So our role in setting our RAS is to help people get on better, have better communication skills, understand each other and not be winners all the time.
We also understand too, the game of chess, whether you're the king or the pawn, at the end of the game it all goes in the same box.
Yeah. So you have to set your RAS for what you want. You don't worry about anyone else. If you want spiritual or you want material stuff, that's okay, because it's your list. And you share that list with people who are going to help you and support you. And when you decide, pick one, and you put it out in your RAS, people will start appearing to help you. You don't think about how I'm going
to
to do
decide
it.
what, strangers will turn up and start to offer advice.
The universe starts inspiring.
Well, the universe is another way of saying the same thing.
Absolutely.
Who here has had a situation where you've decided clearly what you want to do and strangers have appeared and given advice like, oh, who's had that situation? Well, if you haven't had it because you haven't decided, if you just decide this is what I will do, how will become, the minute you decide that, people will start to gravitate towards you, like the law of attraction is the other word, it's the same thing. And suddenly, you're going down the track you want to go down. As soon as you put in the clear address, 22 Smith Street, South Bangalore, that's where you're going, baby. Most people don't have the address, they just put in India, they finish up with Edmonton.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Allan.
I think they deserve another round of people.
Oh, yes.